The preterite and the imperfect, two past tenses that don't share any of the same meanings with each other. This can be problematic for some students because they're both in the past tense, and students seemingly tend to have some difficulty deciding when do I use one, when do I use the other. And hopefully in this video, you'll get a good sense as to when they are used. So the first thing I want you to do before you do that is I want you to review the conjugations of the verbs. Under repaso del pretérito, I want you to review regular verbs, spelling changes, stem changing, irregular preterite, special irregular preterite verbs. You have a lot of Quizlets here that you can practice. And then same thing with the imperfect. Luckily, the imperfect conjugations are a lot simpler than the preterite, so it won't take you much to review those. Okay, the purpose of this video is to show you examples of when preterite and imperfect are used and how different they are from each other. So let's take a look at some examples. Okay, when you guys do the review for preterite, you're going to notice that the preterite is all about things that happened. And it's very specific. Okay, for example, one-time completed action. Yesterday, I went to the supermarket. That's a one-time action. I did that once. Okay, it could be an action that is done for a specific period of time. Estuve en el supermercado por 2 horas. I was in the supermarket for 2 hours. I have specified exactly how long it happened, and so it's considered to be over and done with. We went to Disneyland 5 times. I have specified a specific amount of times that we did this. So each one of those times is considered a specific action. Okay. Whereas imperfect is very general. Okay. It does not denote the completion of an action. Okay. In the example of used to, okay, I used to play with dolls when I was a little girl. Okay. These are not things that happened one time, like yesterday, or I didn't play with dolls twice, or I didn't play with dolls for 3 hours yesterday. Okay, this is a very general thing. I used to, so I'm not referring to any one specific time. Okay, when I was a girl, when was that? That's not a very specific amount of time. It doesn't have a very specific beginning, a very specific ending. Okay, the ongoing actions. Nosotros hablábamos por teléfono. Okay, yesterday we were speaking on the phone. We can also say we were talking. Another thing that we're talking about, characteristics. Okay, my mom was very pretty. Okay, this is not a specific action. It's not something that happened once. Okay, describing what someone looked like, how I felt. Okay, these are not things that occurred. These are characteristics or feelings. Okay, I was very hungry this morning. Okay, that's a feeling. These are not things that someone did. It's not an action. It's a state of being. Okay, telling what time it was. Okay, it was 6 o'clock. That's not anything that anyone did. Okay, it's a description of something. So you could think that the imperfect is very general, very descriptive. Okay, it talks about things that used to be, it talks about things that were happening, it talks about what someone looked like, the color of things, how someone was feeling. Okay, those are all things that don't denote action. Okay, so I want you to think about the preterite and the imperfect in exactly these ways. Preterite is all about action. Someone did something. Imperfect is everything else but that. Okay, what someone used to do, what they were doing, descriptions of things, what they looked like, what the color was, how big it was, how someone was feeling, the time of day, the date. Okay, those are not things that occur. But let's do some contrasting examples using the same sentences, but using preterite and imperfect and see what we get. Okay, let's do ayer yo estuve enfermo. Ayer yo estaba enfermo. Now, a native speaker is going to tell you, I don't know the difference between those, okay? Because they don't know how to explain grammatically when one is used and when the other is used. But trust me, they know when to use it. Okay, now estuve is in the preterite. And what does preterite mean? It means that it occurred. There was an action that took place. Estaba is just a description. So if you're just saying, why didn't you come to the party? ¿Por qué no viniste a la fiesta? Oh, estaba enfermo. I was sick. Okay, that's denoting feeling. Now, what if I were to say I was sick for the entire day yesterday and now I'm feeling better? Which one of these would you use? If I'm saying for a specific amount of time, let's add that. Okay, or maybe un día is not a good example. Todo el día. Yesterday, I was sick for the whole day. That's a starting and ending point. I'm being very specific. Okay. It could also mean I got sick. Ayer yo estuve enfermo y no fui a la escuela. I did not go to school. Okay. So this denotes something that occurred. I became sick versus estaba enfermo. Okay. Let's do another example here. Anoche no pude dormir. Anoche no podía dormir. Last night I couldn't sleep, and last night I couldn't sleep. What's the difference between these two? Remember back, preterite is about action. It's about things that occurred or didn't occur. Okay, so which one of these would mean I couldn't sleep and I didn't sleep at all? No sleep was gotten. If you guessed no pude, that's correct because that denotes action. My eyes never closed. Okay, so I didn't do that action. No podía dormir. Okay, this would be my feeling. Okay, I tossed and turned. Okay, I was, when you're tired and you say, oh, I couldn't sleep last night. You probably slept on and off. It's not like you didn't sleep at all. But no pude means you failed to, not at all. Okay, let's do an example that's in the positive. Okay, both of these mean I was able to do the homework. Okay, but what's the difference in meaning? It's very subtle. Remember, preterite, it's all about completing an action. It's all about doing something in the past. So pude hacer la tarea, I was able to do the homework. I did it. Podía hacer la tarea, I was able to, but maybe I didn't do it. Okay, I had the ability to, but maybe I decided to watch Netflix instead. So pude indicates ability and actually carrying the action out because that's what the preterite's all about. It's about action. And then podía is having the ability. So it's more like a state of being. Let's do the verb querer. Ella no quiso venir a clase. Ella no quería venir a clase. She did not want to come to class. Which one is it? A native speaker might tell you, I don't know the difference, but there is a difference. Remember, preterite is about carrying out the action or not carrying out the action. It's about action. So, no quiso venir. She did not want to come to class. What does this mean? She didn't come. Okay, she didn't want to, and she didn't. Okay, no quería venir would mean she didn't want to, but maybe she was there anyway. So this is a feeling. She didn't want to, she didn't feel like it, but maybe she was there. All right, let's do an example in the affirmative. Okay, Juan quiso comer la pizza. Juan wanted to eat the pizza. Which one is it? Well, it depends on what your intention is. Juan quiso comer la pizza. He wanted to eat the pizza. He ate it. Okay, so he carried out the action. Quería comer la pizza. He was feeling like eating it. Okay, he wanted to eat the pizza. Let's say there was a pizza in front of him and he was sitting there, but let's just say, he didn't really like the pizza, or he thought it had too many calories or something. So he wanted to eat it, but I don't say whether or not he ate it. If my intention is to say he wanted to eat it and he ate it, I would say quiso. If it's just he wanted to, then it's quería. Okay, do another one. Now, and sometimes the verb may change meaning from preterite to the imperfect when you translate to English, because the verb conocer is to know or to meet. Okay, so conocí a Juan. Would this be I knew Juan or I met Juan? Well, it's an action that was completed. Something was done. So conocí a Juan. I met Juan. Versus conocía a Juan. It's a state of being. I knew Juan. It's something that I already knew before. I knew at the time, and I knew him after. It was an ongoing thing or a state of being. Let's do another example. Supe la verdad. Sabía la verdad. They both mean I knew the truth, kind of. Remember, preterite is about action. So I knew the truth, and this would be something that happened, so we translate it as I found out the truth, meaning I knew it all of a sudden. I found out. Versus sabía la verdad, I already knew it. Okay, so it was something that I knew prior to that time. I knew it at the time and I knew it after. So it's a very subtle difference. One more example. Okay, the movie was excellent. My dad was excellent in basketball. Okay, we're using fue and era. They both mean was. And I know that we've told you that we use the imperfect to denote characteristics, right? But remember, preterite is action, it occurred. Imperfect is descriptive, it's ongoing, it's used to. So the movie was excellent. Does a movie start and end? Does it occur? Yes. Okay, so I use the preterite because the movie started and it ended. It finished. It occurred. So I use fue. Versus era, he was excellent in basketball. Okay, this is what he used to do. This is what he used to be. This is a description, and nothing happened. But what if he played basketball last night and he played, for 2 hours and he was excellent? I could say anoche fue excelente. Last night he was excellent because he started and he finished. He played a game. He played one game very specifically. So when you go back through all of these different examples, it's all about action, something that occurred, versus a description or a state of being with imperfect. That's the nuance between preterite and imperfect, is that preterite's all about specific action and imperfect is all about description, things that were happening, a condition, things that used to be. Now you can practice some more.